Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Hartzler and I wanted to talk to you in this video about how to create a chart in Google Sheets. This is very important. I'll show you a little example I made just a second ago. It's nice because you can very quickly and easily make a pretty nice looking graph. You can put a title on it, you can label both the axes, and if you need to, you can come in and even change the numbers and your graph will change based on that. It's kind of nice. So it's always updating. You can even make the graph ahead of time and then input your data as long as you know how many cells it's going to take up. So let's give this a whirl. In this case, I already have my X and my Y axis in here, just kind of floating around on my spreadsheet. I'm going to go to Insert. Notice I'm not clicking in any of these cells. You can do it by highlighting these, but some of my students have issues doing that. So I'm just going to put my cursor in a generic cell. I go to Insert. I go to Chart. Now this little thing pops up, says no data. So what I'm going to do now is go over to the right. My chart editor has popped up. Let's say you exit out of that on accident. You can double click on your table or your little chart and it'll pop back up again. I need to give it some data, so I'm going to go into my data range. These are going to be my Y coordinates. I don't know why they say data range instead of Y coordinates, but think about range and my Y coordinates. You know, they're the same if you look at the math terms there. So I'm going to go to that and I'm going to type in, or I can click on this little box here and I can go and highlight my data right here. I am from C4 to C12. Hit OK. That populates, but notice I only have labels on my Y axis. I want them on my X as well. So now I'm going to go over to X axis over on the right, add X axis, and I'm going to highlight my X axis information. Hit OK. Now it's all updated. Awesome. But I need a couple more things. If I'm going to have a chart, chart style, you can change a couple of things there. I'm going to edit the background color just to slightly more gray. Kind of has it pop out from the rest of the spreadsheet a little bit. I'm going to go to chart and axis titles. Here, I'm going to click this drop down. I think it defaults to chart title, but I've changed it a couple times. So click on chart title and type that in. So let's go height versus time. You can change where it's all located. Maybe I want it in the center. Then, and this is the part that people have issues with too, you don't click somewhere else to start adding axis labels. You hit the drop down and click whichever axis you want to change. Type it into the same spot. So the horizontal axis, that's our X axis here. And then I'm going to hit vertical axis. And that is going to be height. And we'll do inches. And you'll notice it all pops up. Everything can be changed. I can change the color. I can change whether it's bold or not. So now I've made the vertical axis bold. Let's make horizontal axis bold. All of those kinds of things can be changed in here. You can also change what kind of chart it is. That's back under setup. So right now it's under column chart. If I click on that, I have a lot more options. I can make it into a line. You can have it cover area. And if you have more information or different types of data, you can have it populate in a different way. But for us, chart works out pretty much the best. So we're going to leave it like that. Good to go. And again, I can change some of the stuff. Maybe on day 0, I recorded it incorrectly and I already started at 1. So now that pops up on my graph. You can see it pop up. And there it is. So this was adding a chart to Google Sheets.